Hello, internet friends. Welcome back once again, and thank you so much for joining me here today. The clips and the footage that you're going to be watching are kind of a little bit of a medley of lifting from the last couple of weeks or the last month or so, I guess. Some of them are in different locations, obviously. This is the pause deadlift session that I did at Seattle Strength and Power with my friend Bryce Lewis when he was up in Washington to visit. And the following clip is going to be some conventional deadlifts that I did with my friend Ben Seath in Hoquiam, Washington. And then afterwards moved back to the garage, and you're going to continue to see sort of little snippets of what my training has been like. If you've been catching up with the live streams, you've seen a lot of deadlift workouts through that. Usually that's because I need more focus in my squat workouts to make it through and not die. So the topic that I want to get into today is something that's been coming up a lot in the live streams, which that form of content I've personally really been enjoying. I feel like I can interact more with people and give better answers to questions because it's kind of in the moment, and I have the opportunity to clarify when people have further questions beyond the initial question. It's a little bit more effective than just responding to comments in the comment section of the regular videos. At the same time, I understand if not everybody has the time to sit down and hang out with me for an entire workout. They go for a while. But one of the most common questions, or the things that people tend to bring up a lot in those live streams, are questions regarding programming. Usually along the lines of, what program should I do, or what program would you recommend for a novice or for an intermediate, or here are my numbers, what program should I run? And I think that this is a really good question because it's one that many people have, and I think it's really problematic for me to give an answer because I can't in good conscience recommend any one program as being the best thing to do. I think the very nature of what we do is pretty individualistic, and my honest response, even though it may sound biased, is that most people don't really need programming as much as they need coaching, and the programming aspect is the easier part. And so not everyone can afford a coach. I understand that. It's not in everybody's financial situation. It's not in kind of the place where they are in their life to be able to hire someone and pay them money to be able to kind of lead them through the process. But the other way I would go about it would be to focus on educating yourself about enough general programming that you can make adjustments to existing programs. Find a skeletal outline of a program, learn about it. And the resources I've been pushing people towards have been Eric Helms, Greg Knuckles, and Dr. Mike Israetel from the Renaissance Periodization Systems, the RPS. And those three authors have put out a whole bunch of really useful information for the basics of programming. And I think that it's really important to kind of understand that the program is less important than the adherence to some sort of consistency. You don't have to be running the best program for it to be effective. Many people are successful in spite of the training decisions they make and the programming that they run, but the real key to continued progress comes from recognizing the things that you personally need to work on, and then adjusting your focus so that you're working in the direction that makes sense for you as an individual athlete. You can't just expect to have a generic program that was made for someone else or some general lifter in mind be as effective for you as something that was made for you specifically with you in mind as the lifter. That doesn't mean those programs can't work. But what it does mean is that when I have very little information about an athlete, I have a very difficult time recommending one that is going to work better than all the other ones are. And so when people come in and ask that question, I try really hard to not sound like I'm pitching that you need to get coached, because you don't need to get coached. You can learn the basics of programming with relative ease if you just spend a little bit of time, a couple of days or a couple of weeks at the most, uh, to learn enough of the basics where you can be competent in making some programmatic decisions. And then, obviously, I think that being coached and having an objective source of the information and someone to kind of guide you through and answer questions and keep you from becoming trapped in your emotional self and can give you good, objective, positive feedback and critical analysis of what it is that you're doing, I think that's the best way to go. And so when people are asking this question, I'm assuming that they're not asking what can I do. I'm assuming they're asking what should I do to give me the best results with the effort that I have to give. And that is my answer. I think that anybody can run any program and potentially see it be beneficial. You won't know until you try. But if you are interested in cutting out the kind of guess and check method, then it may be worth your time to sit down and focus on learning a little bit about programming or investing in yourself by getting someone who does it professionally. That's kind of what we do whenever we have something where we don't necessarily have the time to invest in learning a craft or learning a trade 100% for ourselves. We go to a specialist. You could probably fix your own plumbing in your house with enough research to figure it out. The internet exists and a lot of this information is readily available, but it's way faster to hire a plumber and have someone come in and do it who has worked in that field and knows the in and outs and can do it a little bit more quickly and usually has a better guarantee or a warranty that that the changes they make and the fixes and the repairs they have are going to last a little longer and are going to have a higher standard of execution, because that's the profession. And that's really the difference between learning something yourself and then hiring someone else who's a professional. And so again, I don't want this to come off like I'm telling people that you must be coached and you must hire a specific coach. I just think that to answer that question, which seems to be prevalent, way more prevalent than I thought it was, my answer across the board is going to be many programs can work, but no program that was written for someone else is going to be as effective for you as a program that was written for you by a competent individual who can adjust all these different variables to have it make the most sense and be the most applicable to you as an individual lifter in your own journey. And so that's really kind of, I don't want it to sound fatalistic. I don't want it to be a letdown for someone who's looking for a kind of canned response or an easy response. But I think that it can't be the simplest thing where I just say, go over here, this program's the best 100% of the time for every lifter, bar none. If that was the case, then people wouldn't do the other programs. We would have figured out that this one thing is the best thing. But another thing that I would encourage people to keep in mind is usually the most effective tactics to get better are not the flashy, new, exciting things. It's usually the boring stuff. It's the stuff that involves you being consistent and coming back and doing the same things over and over and over again and practicing skills until they become as close to perfect as you're capable of doing them, and then not allowing that style or that ability that you've kind of honed to atrophy by losing practice. You have to work very, very, very hard to keep getting better at this. And if you stop working hard, you stop getting better, and you will get worse. You either practice every single rep you do to get better and ingrain good, positive habits that are going to benefit you in the long run, or you are practicing and ingraining incorrect motor patterns, bad positions, and laziness. So make sure that whatever you do, you are using some critical thinking. Take some agency over your own decisions and your own life and your own strength journey, and make sure that you're seeking the information that's going to benefit you and not just defaulting to have someone else kind of give you a canned response, because usually the work that you put in to understand, whether that's learning about programming or seeking out a coach who is competent and able to help you through that process with you as an individual, those I think are the best options. And if you're passionate about this and it's something you want to learn more about, then I think you owe it to yourself to pursue those two avenues rather than just defaulting to some canned, mass-produced thing and hoping that you line up well enough with whoever it was written for that it works as well for you as you hope it does. So this was a little bit of a different kind of topic for the video, but it is something that I've been getting asked a lot, and I told the people in that stream that I was trying to come up with a talking topic based off of some of the ideas or some of the things that I'm getting a lot of traffic for in that environment. So if you guys have other questions, please join one of the streams or ask in the comment section down below. I'll be checking that out in the next couple of days. But wherever you are, I hope that you're having a great day, and I will talk to you all very, very soon. Thank you. Bye.